How are you?
Oh, doing well. Just doing the million things. Working on an essay about evil in response to the Idaho killing sentence. Getting ready for this big Hulu show to come out that I'm really proud of,
That's really exciting.
and
And you
still.
actually worked with them. They didn't take your life story and send you a ticket later. You actually worked with them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, they for once they're trying to do the right thing. So hopefully I give them a positive experience. That's actually been something that's been a big concern for me is I want them to come away thinking that it was a good idea to work with the source person and not to have tried it with me and then say never again. So I'm trying to be a very good collaborative partner.
Were you on
And
set with them?
yes, I was. Yeah.
How was that?
Amazing. I'm working on an essay about it, but it surprisingly therapeutic in the sense that, I'm working with not just any old, production company. I'm working with some of the best people with some of the best funding. And so they really didn't, they really went out of their way to, especially like even just like things in the set design that I was just came away with feeling so, one, impressed because either they were taking something that was direct footage from the trials, and perfectly recreating, for example, the apartment that Meredith and I shared, um, or else like taking, even if they didn't perfectly replicate like my childhood home, they really took great care in replicating the spirit, the essence of that. With just like these little attention to detail things, like the kinds of fake food that they had sitting on the counter, and the Seahawks throw that was just sort of casually on the couch, like all these like little attention to detail
That's so
actually got me.
surreal, especially like your jail cell and like the apartment like that. I mean, I can't imagine what that was like the recreation of the most traumatic experiences of your life.
Yeah, the recreation of the jail cell, the recreation of my apartment, the recreation of the courtroom, um, all of those things I got to, walk in. I was just like there, walking through these spaces and talking to Grace about, you know, what was where was I emotionally and psychologically on the journey
Know who
through every
Grace is.
place. What?
You didn't say who Grace is.
Oh, I didn't say. Are you monitoring my call?
You're fine, sir.
Yeah, the news is out that Grace Van Patten is
Yeah.
playing me. Amazing actress. Yeah, like it. Her, I think the big show that she has been on most recently is Tell Me Lies, which is a big sexy show, and she's great on that. She is brilliant on this show, and so like walking with her through like where Amanda is at psychologically on her journey through each of these different moments. Um, was really cool and has like added this new layer of, I've been thinking a lot about doppelgangers and ideas of people and how that has like negatively impacted my life. But now I'm having this like positive impact where I'm seeing, this representation of me in the worst experience of my life that is being taken with such care
Yeah.
and with such consideration and with such thoughtfulness, which is like such a huge change to what I'm so used to.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that must be very therapeutic. Before we get too much further on, I want to ask our listeners, did you guys get the email, or our viewers, did you guys get the email? Now I'm
How do you
getting
get like
circles.
feedback?
There's you should be able to see comments in the no, yes. Oh man. Okay. So the email was sent out to some people, of course. No, no, yes, no, not today. Yes, no. Okay. Well, I just can't worry about that right now. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and
okay.
I'm not seeing any comments, so I
Oh,
don't
really?
know what people were commenting.
Okay. Well, if you want, I can't. Chris, if you've got your laptop pulled up and you go to the link that I sent you, you should be able to see the comments on the laptop. I can see them on here, but who knows? Okay.
Some people are saying they got an email. Some people are saying they got a notification.
Are you hearing this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you,
Technology.
yeah.
I don't trust it.
Yeah. Okay. So most people obviously know who you are. Very famous, world famous, which is an odd thing for someone to experience for something they didn't do. But
Do.
yeah, but just let's
It's
just
so easy to be famous
yeah.
these days. Don't do
That's true.
something.
That's actually true. There's so many famous people, like very famous people who I've never heard of. That like everyone will be famous for 15 minutes thing does seem to be correct. But your fame has lasted much longer than 15 minutes. Okay, so you've got a new Substack. You've rebranded the podcast. It was Labyrinth. Now it's Hard Knocks. And you've got a book out. I've got the book right here. I unfortunately took the cover off. It's a beautiful book. It's called Free.
Oh, you know what? My sister did this great thing here. My sister, in celebration of my book, did the very classy person who crochets everything.
Wow.
She crocheted me a book cover.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a real one of a kind.
I
Most of,
know.
yeah, most of them
Those,
are not
those
crocheted.
but I'll the real one.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yes, yes. It is a really good book. It's a really easy read. It's very interesting. There's lots of life lessons in it, but it's also a story about true crime. So it's a really interesting blend of sort of genres, but it's a great book. And I want to talk about the book in a little bit, but first, let's just start with an overview of the case. Most people will remember your story, but in case anyone was in a coma, from 2007 until like right now, just give us the brief elevator version of your story.
Yeah. Okay. So, elevator pitch of the story. I'm studying abroad at 20 years old in Perugia, Italy. I'm living with three other young women in this apartment in downtown Perugia. One night, a local burglar breaks into my home and rapes and murders one of my roommates. And within a few days, I am arrested and accused of having committed this crime. I'm on trial for a total of 8 years. I spent 4 years of those in prison, and I, am living with the consequences of having been accused of this vicious thing that I had nothing to do with for the rest of my life because it became a global sensation in the media. This story that the prosecution presented, which was that my roommate died not because a local burglar broke into our home, but because her sex crazed, drug addled roommate decided to orchestrate a murder orgy. And
That is like every American girl's dream is to go to Italy, meet a nice young man, and then go have a murder orgy with the homeless guy down the street. It makes a lot of sense. I can see why everybody believed it.
yeah, and I think it's shocking to this day how many people still believe some version of it because there is that lingering feeling that some people have, which is that if Amanda was accused, like she must know something about it or must have been involved something. And, even, the Italian justice system to this day, like the final ruling that acquitted me and, exonerated me said I didn't do it, also said, but she was likely there when the crime occurred, which is this weird backwards way of saying she didn't do it, but we're also letting the prosecution and police off the hook for having said that she did it because maybe she was there. And it's like, oh my God, all you did was prove that I lived in the house where my roommate was murdered. You did not, but that's the ongoing sort of legacy of this case is that Italy has not just come around and said, oops, we were wrong, our bad, our mistake. Amanda's totally innocent. They've taken this sort of middle route where they did not want to take responsibility and have sort of put the onus on me to prove my innocence and prove a negative, which is something that I don't have the physical ability to do. I don't have, video footage of what actually happened in the house that night and that I was there.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating, but
Do you think that's a way of, I mean, maybe this is just like protecting the egos of the men involved in your prosecution, maybe that's something like that. But are there more like, does this prevent you from suing if they don't officially say like, okay, Amanda didn't do it, you're sort of off? What's the sort of technical reason that you were exonerated or let out of jail?
Well, because there was nothing tying me to the crime. So my roommate was raped and murdered in her bedroom, and there is no physical evidence that places me in the bedroom or anywhere near her body or on her belongings, nor to a murder weapon. So there's just literally nothing that connect, like no physical evidence that connects me to this crime. Instead, what people point to is they say, well, Amanda didn't act like an innocent person.
Well, my
And that's
question is, were you officially exonerated? Like the final ruling, was it Amanda is not guilty, or was it?
So the final ruling in Italy was Amanda was found not guilty per non aver commesso il fatto, for factually not having committed the crime. So it's a very strong stance. Like Amanda did not commit the crime. It's as close to our equivalent of like a finding of actual innocence as you can possibly get. That said, they then undercut that and did what one of my attorneys called a contentina, a little contentment. They gave a little contentment to the police and prosecution saying, be that as it may, Amanda did not commit this crime. She may have been present in the house when the crime occurred. And that's
okay.
That's what they.
Okay, I get it what you're saying. Okay. And so so you had two other roommates, were they Italian law students?
Yes.
Why were you targeted as the perpetrator of this crime and not them? Or not the guy who did it, but why you?
Yeah, great question. I think that so first of all, in the dynamics of our household, there was me and Meredith, who were younger. I was 20, she was 21, and then our roommates, who were Italian, were older. They were, I think 27 and 28, which was, significant at that time. It meant that we moved in different circles, and we had we just moved in different circles. Like, Laura and Filomena were a little more settled down, had their, they were law interns. One thing that was very different. Sorry?
And they were local?
And they were